talking about some tips, 5 smart tips to help you smoothly manage teamwork across your agency business. If you could just let me know that you can hear me okay, that you can see the presentation deck on the screen, please go ahead and use the chat box, and then we will get things started. I know we're running a couple of minutes behind scheduled start time. I just wanted to hang around a little bit because typically we have a few more people on these webinars, so I just wanted to make sure that all of the email invites went out okay. I'm sure we'll have more people join us as we get going and as we get started. So I'm gonna kick everything off in a couple of seconds. Before we start today's content, I would love to hear from all of you who are here with me today, whether or not you've been on one of these webinars before. That would be really useful for me to find out how much I need to tell you about this webinar series. So if you've been on one of these webinars before, give me a yes in the chat box. Or if this is your first time, type in like a number 1 in the chat box, and I'll kind of see the crowd, and then we'll get things started. Okay, so we have Aggie, first time, Michael, first time, Joel has been here before. Hey Joel, welcome back. Welcome to Aggie and Michael, first time on this webinar series as well. Marcio has been here before too, which is great. Awesome, okay. So as we don't have many of you here today, I think what we'll do is just dive straight into the content. And then make sure we have plenty of time for kind of Q&A at the end of this session as well. One more question though before we jump into things. Are any of you currently using the Promo Republic agency solution? If you are, let me know. If you're not, then you don't need to say anything, it's no problem. But if any of you are currently using Promo Republic's agency specific solution, that would also be very interesting for me to find out. Awesome, Joel is, Marcio is. Cool. Okay. So you have a couple of you are, I'm guessing the rest of you aren't. Okay, sweet. So let's jump into things. Today, we're going to be covering these kind of 3 core areas, talking about how to level up time and project management skills, talking about some alternative tools that you can be using, and going through 5 different tips to help you more effectively manage the kind of teamwork across your agency business as a whole. So for those of you who are here for the first time, Michael, Aggie, and anyone else who's here for the first time, my name is Dylan Hay. I will be leading today's webinar. And this is part of a wider series of webinars and content put together by the team at Promo Republic. And it's called the Agency and Freelancer Academy. So as part of that Agency and Freelancer Academy, we do these webinars, usually every single week, sometimes every 2 weeks, same time, same place every week. And we've done over 25 or 30 of these webinars now. We also put together an online summit, usually once every couple of quarters, specifically focused towards helping agency owners and freelancers like grow and scale their businesses. So last time we had, I believe it was 16 different speakers from leading agencies, leading software businesses, talking about different tools, tips, tricks, tactics behind marketing and growing your business. We also have a really insightful blog on the Promo Republic page. I'd definitely recommend checking that out, where we share lots of other cool, useful pieces of content. We also just launched the Agency Insider, which is a video podcast series where I will be interviewing a number of other leading influencers within the space, so make sure you check that out too. And I guess that's enough about the Agency and Freelancer Academy and why we set this up. Some of you, I think most of you have been on this webinar series before, so you know why we're here today. But yeah, for those of you who are new, I don't actually work full-time for Promo Republic. I'm more of a brand ambassador. I lead the content on the agency side. I actually run my own agency, like many of you. So I run an agency that's focused on PPC and landing page design for other SaaS and tech businesses. Have a wealth of experience within the social media world. I worked for companies like Hootsuite and Leadfeeder. You can see me here visiting LinkedIn, speaking on stage at Social Media Week, and plenty of other events, as well as previously running a social media focused podcast too. So that's a little bit about me, but today we're just here to give you guys some more value, give you some ideas, show you a little bit of the Promo Republic agency solution and how it could potentially help you and your business. So before we get into the content, just one more thing. If you haven't heard about this already, as I said, the Promo Republic team are working really hard on putting together some really great, useful and insightful content for other agencies. And part of that right now is actually a survey that they're putting together, and it's going to be a huge report on the state of marketing agencies in 2019. So we're planning on collecting kind of answers from over 1,000 marketing agencies on what their challenges are, how you can potentially make more revenue in your agency, putting together what kind of tools can help you, what kind of insights could help you. So I would encourage all of you to go ahead and complete this survey. It will only take you 4 or 5 minutes. Everyone who enters the survey will also be entered in with a chance to win 1 year free subscription to the agency-specific solution for Promo Republic, and you'll also be put on the list to be the first person to be told when this case study is complete and put together. So if you do have time, please go ahead and do that. I've just shared the link right now in the chat box in the webinar section, so make sure you go ahead and do that. Can someone just let me know that the links and everything is appearing okay in the chat section? I just want to double check. Be really helpful if someone could just let me know that they can see that SurveyMonkey link. Awesome. Okay, thanks, Aggie. Cool, so let's just jump straight into things. Let's get into today's content. So how to level up your time and project management skills. Now, I feel quite funny kind of giving this topic, because one of my biggest weaknesses as a entrepreneur, business owner, agency owner, whatever you want to call me, has been my time management and my project management skills. It's something that I'm working on at the moment. I just brought on a co-founder to the agency recently, and this has become a huge focus of ours in making sure we move our business forward. So I'm learning with a lot of you on these topics as well. I've taken a lot of research from other useful places online, other people that I know, other ideas that I have from various mastermind groups, etc., and put them in here. But as I said, it's not my strongest area of running an agency business. So I'm learning with all of you as we go through this. But I wanted to start with this slide right here and ask you a question. So have you ever spent time like searching through books about being productive and then not actually actioning these things and being productive? Or maybe how many of you when you open your browser window, how many of you have a browser window that looks like this, like a chain of different tabs like spreadsheets, emails, articles that you want to read through, some project management ideas, maybe some ideas to help your clients and your agency, different pop-ups, different notifications grabbing your attention. How many of your browsers looks like this? I can see a few of you typing away, so I'm guessing a few of you do. Okay, so I'm not the only one, which is interesting. So if you've been on these webinars before, which I know most of you have, you'll know that I'm a big fan of like statistics. And I found this one earlier on today when I was putting together this deck. And it said that only 58% of businesses fully understand the value of project management. So you might think the way that, or you might be thinking the way that those other 62% of business owners are, and the way that I used to think about project management and not seeing the full value of it for my agency in the past, and that's totally fine. In today's webinar, I'm not going to give you all a lecture about time management, project management. You don't have to worry about that. But what I am going to do is give you a few tips and ways that you can improve your time management specifically within your agency, and how in turn this can help you generate more significant uplift in revenue for your business. Does that sound good? Does that sound interesting for everyone? I'm hoping it does, because I put some time into this deck this morning. As I said, this is something that's very top of mind for me at the moment too. Okay, awesome. So I wanted to put in one more quote before we continue. This is a quote from a guy called Peter Drucker, and he once said, "Until we can manage time, we manage nothing else. One cannot buy, rent, or hire more time." And this is really important to think about when we're starting to build and grow our agencies. Time is the one resource that we just can't buy more of. So we need to be focusing on managing this definitely in a better way. So time management is going to be able to help you set the right priorities across your agency. Use your time as effectively as possible. Keep track of things you're working on yourself. Keep track of things you're waiting on answers for, or maybe other people in your team are waiting on answers for, and to help you keep focused. And in turn, if you start looking at this is going to result in doing the right things at the right moment, taking enough time for the most important actions, following up with others, not forgetting about potential opportunities, letting them slide away, and being able to do things that you do with your full attention, which is really, really important in itself. And all of this is going to result in higher productivity, higher conversion rates, higher retention rates. And anything that will result in higher conversion rates, higher retention rates, that means more dollars, more euros, whichever currency you're using in your business bank account. And that's what we all want, right? Who doesn't want that? So where do we start? How do we start to improve our time management, our project management? How many of you would say that you're like super streamlined, you have everything worked out in terms of time management, project management, managing your team? I'm also not sure about the size of all of your agencies. So do all of you have a team? Maybe some of you are still using contractors, freelancers. Maybe just let me know in the chat box and we can see. Because as I said, for me, we're just over a year into running our agency now. And the first 6 months, really, it was just me and a couple of contractors. Now it's me, a co-founder, a pretty much full-time outsourced PPC manager, some designers, but we're actually just about to start hiring people in-house now, building out an office and a team here. So this is something that I said is very, very top of mind for me, and I want to improve right now too. But even when you do have like an outsourced team or contractors working for you, we can still always improve our time management and how we manage that team specifically. So where do we get started? Without a deliberate practice of time management, you will see time is always running faster and seemingly running away from you. This is something that I still feel like to this day. And that's when overwhelm sets in. So new responsibilities come to you, but you haven't taken care of the older ones. And then your agency starts to weaken because you're focused on both the past, unfinished things that you need to do, and the present at the same time. Your attention becomes split, and that's when things become difficult to manage effectively. So when we do manage our time well, we tend to remain focused on the present moment. And when we're clearly focused on that present moment and clearly focused on the tasks that we need to be and should be working on, we then have access to both internal and external cues to knowing how we should better focus and use our agency. And this improves our agency massively. So for me, the key when thinking about how can we improve time management and project management, the key here is just starting somewhere by making it a deliberate practice, a deliberate focus of yours. And as I said, I completely sucked at this. I still suck at this a little bit, but I'm trying to get better. I completely sucked at this, and this was something that we really needed to focus on. So when Celia, my co-founder, joined the team like a month and a half, 2 months ago, this is one of her skill sets and strong points, and we really started to work on implementing different project management flows and time management flows. And again, it's something that I need to improve still, but I'm working on very, very hard. So one of the kind of key points for this webinar today was what are the alternatives to spreadsheets? Now, this was suggested by the team at Premier Republic, and I know this one is like super simple and really straightforward. I'm hoping most of you aren't just relying on spreadsheets to like manage your business and work with your clients. What kind of agencies are you running actually, for those of you who are new on this webinar series? Are you running social media management agencies? Are you doing content creation, PPC, I don't know, SEO, website design and development? I know we often have a variety of people here. So just let me know using the chat box if you can, what kind of agencies you're running at the moment, because different agencies will have different tools that they're using and different things to be focusing on. Thank you, Marcio, too. I can see you said you completed the survey, so I appreciate that. Hopefully you be one of the lucky ones that actually get to win the agency subscription. Okay, so Aggie says most of the items you've listed. Joel, search engine management. Okay, cool. Awesome. Also, Marcio, is this Marcio who runs the SEO agency in Canada? I'd be really interested to see that. Yeah, awesome, cool. Hey man, good to see you, good to connect with you. I hope everything is doing well for you. Okay, so alternatives to spreadsheets. Now, I'm breaking this down into 4 different sections: project management tools, client collaboration, team communication, and document storage and collaborations as well. So hopefully this is the best way to break it down. I was expecting most people on here to be like social media management agencies, maybe some general agencies too. So these are the 4 sections. Now, project management is very, very simple for me. How many of you are using 1 or 2 of these tools, or 1 or either of these tools, I should probably say? And how many of you aren't using a tool? Because I had a project management tool. I had Trello, but I wasn't using it until Celia came on to the business recently. And now everything, again, is something that I'm trying to work on and get better at utilizing more. But now we're transitioning absolutely everything into ClickUp. And ClickUp has been absolutely awesome in terms of the features and functionality and everything that we need and the way that we collaborate as a team and manage projects right now. So I know that some of you will be using these tools. For me, these are the 2. Like everyone talks about Trello. I think it's fine, it's okay. And ClickUp is what we're using and has a lot more to it than Trello. So that would be my recommendation for project management. Then it comes to client collaboration. So a number of you said that you are doing social media management as a service. Those of you that are you often kind of preparing content calendars, content plans, post ideas, putting them into Excel docs or Google Sheets or whatever it might be, and then emailing them to your clients? How many of you are going through that kind of process at the moment when you're collaborating with your clients from a social media marketing perspective? Be interesting to see. I know there's very few of us on this webinar today, so I don't think I'm going to go into like a full-scale demo of Promo Republic, but I do want to show you just quickly some of the client collaboration features for those of you who are new here and for those of you who aren't currently using the agency solution. So Chris, to answer your question, I'm not using any time tracking apps. I have very split opinions about time tracking apps. I guess it depends on the reasons for using them. So we don't bill any of our clients on an hourly basis, so that's one reason why I don't have them. But I don't want to like track every single move that my team or employees are making, because I don't think that builds a good culture. Even when you're working in a remote business, there's nothing worse than like your management wanting you to be on 24/7 or always have that little green light on in Slack. So I don't use any time tracking apps. I know that some people would suggest I would use them to see where I'm personally spending my time and identify some opportunities where maybe I'm wasting a little bit of time. But no, in short answer, no, I don't use them. The one that I hear a lot about, I guess because I'm based out here in Estonia, in Tallinn, we have a company here called Toggle. I know that is one a lot of people use and are pretty well known within the space. So that's how I approach time tracking. But I'm not billing hourly for our clients. Everything is on a monthly retained basis. Okay, so those of you who are here who aren't currently using the agency solution of Promo Republic and offering social media management, would it be interesting for you to see a little bit about how Promo Republic can help you manage like client collaboration and client communication? If it would be, and you do want to see that, give me a yes. If you don't want to see that, give me a no, because I know some of you have seen this before also. So just give me a yes if you do want to see that, give me a no if you're not interested in seeing that right now. I'll give it a couple seconds to see what comes through. Okay, Aggie wants to see it. Awesome. So we'll jump into things, Aggie. So let me just set up my screen sharing very, very quickly for you. As I said, I'm not going to give you like a full-scale demo of Promo Republic. That's not the purpose of today's webinar. But I do want to show you then, if you are interested, how it can help you with your client collaboration, just very, very quickly. So let me just open up my screen sharing platform, and then we will jump into things very quickly. Okay. Okay, so I can see Michael says he had a power outage. What did they miss? Don't worry, Michael, you didn't miss too much. We were just going through some tools. We still have a few more to cover. I was just actually about to share my screen and show all of you client collaboration features within Promo Republic, but interestingly, the screen sharing is not working, even though I tested beforehand. So I'm going to skip through that. Aggie, if you're interested in finding out a bit more about the client collaboration features within Promo Republic, what I'm going to do for you right now is share a link in the chat box, which will enable you to actually set up a call with the team at Promo Republic. Not a pushy sales call or anything like that, but just an opportunity to see the platform itself and find out a bit more about the client collaboration features. So in essence, with the client collaboration features in Promo Republic, is you can build your full content calendar and content library and content plan essentially within Promo, like many other scheduling tools. But then instead of having to send a link to your clients for approval or go back and forth on emails or go through spreadsheets, etc., we have collaboration fully built into the Promo Republic software. And all of this at an agency level can also be white labeled. So it will be fully set up with your own branding. Instead of the Promo Republic branding, you will have your own URL, all this kind of stuff. So your clients will see you as having your own social media tool and your own client collaboration tool, which can really help you also increase your prices across your agency too, because it's great for positioning. And within Promo Republic Agency Solution, there's also a number of other really cool things. So there's like a great reporting and analytics. There is some really good social media monitoring now that's improving day by day in Promo Republic. There's also the content creation angle. So there's over 100,000 post templates that are ready to go, already created, that you can actually just use immediately. So if you currently use something like Canva or Adobe Spark, you don't have to worry about creating your posts in that, downloading them, uploading them into your scheduling tool anymore. You can actually just do everything directly from Promo Republic, and there's already over 100,000 templates that you can use. And you can set up all of your own clients with their own workspaces, with their own branding, so you can quickly switch those in and out. There's tons and tons of reasons why you should and could use the agency-specific solution. I know we had a couple people on here who are currently using the agency version of Promo Republic. So if you are, maybe you could just chip in and let us know how it's been going for you. But Michael, that link is for everybody to use. So if you schedule a call using that link, basically what will happen is you'll have a call with a member of the sales team at Promo Republic. But as I said, it's not going to be super pushy. They're just there to answer a couple of questions for you, show you the platform, show you what it looks white labeled, etc. But anyone that schedules a call using that link, you can see we have the UTM code in here, webinar attendees. So it's trackable for the team, and they'll actually offer a special discount to anyone who comes from these webinars as well. So you'll get a discount on the price too, which is already very, very competitive. So I did want to show it to you, but we're having some issues with screen sharing, and I know a few of you have seen it before anyway, so we will move on. But if you have any questions whatsoever, I really would recommend going ahead, just scheduling in the call, having a chat with the team, and seeing if the agency solution can work for you. If you're running social media management for clients, I know it can help you grow business, like no doubt about that. Okay, so let's do the next thing. Team communication, for me, there's only one tool that I would ever recommend that I use for this, and that's Slack. Get away from internal emails. Like, of course, there's a place for emails for certain things, but get away from emails, get away from Facebook messages, from WhatsApp messages if you can, and get everything onto Slack so that you can have all of your different channels, different workspaces, etc. This is a great way for myself and my team to communicate, some of my clients as well. I really would recommend getting everything on Slack for team communication. Then it comes to document storage. So a recommendation here for us, we use Google Drive. I use Dropbox for my personal brand for some YouTube videos, etc. But main focus on Google Drive. One tool that we have started using very recently for note-based stuff. So instead of using Docs in Google Drive, we're now using a tool called Slite, which is S-L-I-T-E. And this is a much nicer interface, much more easy to use, but you don't have to share a ton of links with people. Your clients or people you're working with can actually come in and edit docs directly in their browser if they don't have the app, or in the app, etc. It's really good for embedding stuff, much better organization than typical Google Docs, easier to filter through things. So I'd recommend checking out Slite as well, maybe. No, I'm not concerned about the lack of encryption on Dropbox and Google Drive. I don't really have anything in there that's of utmost importance that I don't mind people seeing. It's mainly just like creatives for client ad campaigns, all that kind of stuff. Yeah. So let's get into the 5 tips to help you smoothly manage teamwork across your agency, and then we will wrap up and do some Q&A. So hopefully this has been valuable so far. This is the tips that we're going to jump into. Let's get straight into them. So number 1, when it comes to more effectively working as a team, for me, is making sure you start with defined goals. So I read a study when I was prepping for this webinar that was a research that was reported by Harvard in 1979 that said people almost never set goals for the future. It appeared that only 3% of respondents to this study had both written down goals and concrete plans. And then the same students were asked about the level of income they had reached 10 years further down the line. And the 3% of students who recorded and wrote down their goals earned 10 times more than the 97% combined of those who didn't. So as business leaders, we use a plethora of different methods, tricks, strategies, and tools to figure out how to achieve goals. There's lots of different ways that you can do this. Bill Gates used the OKR method. I know the team at Promo Republic use the OKR method as well. Richard Branson always talks about writing down his goals. He believes marking off every single completed task helps him to stay motivated. So for me, to improve your teamwork, one thing is like good marketing is not just subjective. There has to be numbers behind that marketing, and setting goals with your team so everyone knows what numbers to be focusing on and hitting is how you can prove good marketing, right? And your team can only deliver on these goals if they're clear on the goals and everyone is working on these goals together. And that kind of ties in nicely into my second tip, which is establishing a mission. So the screenshot over here on the right-hand side is from one of my mentors agencies, and they have a mission. Theirs is very revenue focused, and you can see them here as a team celebrating hitting their recent revenue target number. And while your team, of course, should have those regimented day-to-day goals that we just talked about a minute ago, there should also be this long-term goal that everyone across the team is working on together to try and reach. So I would really recommend, if you haven't done this already, to like open up a discussion with your team members to provide some insight or suggestions on what this mission or goal should be as a team. And you can use this feedback to set a mission for your team that you're all working on together and geared towards. So this should be like a long-term mission, goal, however you want to call it. Okay, and then tip number 3 is to maintain open communication. So you want to make sure your team are aware of timelines, budgets, open tasks. Keeping communication channels wide open is vital to the success of any project we're finding with our business for sure. Using tools like Slack and ClickUp to help your team become aware of timelines, assignments, budgets. That allows them also to discuss details about these tasks with each other. And these abilities allow your project to run more smoothly and avoid any responsibility overlap or deadlines potentially being missed. So communication is key. Make sure you're always asking questions if you're unsure about things. There's no harm in double checking with team members whatsoever. So the 4th tip is to automate or delegate wherever possible. You don't want your team members to be wasting time on things that they do not need to be doing. So use any tools that you can to make sure that their time is spent on more focused tasks that only they can do, or that their skills are there for them. So you don't need them to be scheduling or manually scheduling posts. You don't need them to be doing hours and hours on content creation unless they're a designer and that's their job, right? So see what you can automate so that your team members can spend their time more efficiently elsewhere. You can either use something like Promo Republic to help you delegate and automate a lot of things. Tools like Zapier are really important. We use Zapier to automate a lot of our workflows across our business. For our PPC side of things, we have a number of optimization tools that will help us make sure we're aware of optimization opportunities within our client account so that we're not having to spend hours and hours manually looking through all of the accounts. Of course, we're looking through all our accounts every single day, but able to find things much faster. So this is another good opportunity to talk about Promo Republic. If you do want to learn a bit more about Promo Republic itself, make sure you go ahead and use that Calendly link I shared earlier on, because it's going to be a good opportunity for you to maybe opt tasks from your team so that they can work on more valuable things. And Joel has a book recommendation here saying a good book on this is Pulling Profits Out of a Hat. Thanks for that recommendation, Joel. And then the 5th and final tip is to just acknowledge good work. I don't want you to be one of those bosses who only gives feedback when you've got something to criticize. I'm sure you've all worked for bosses like that in the past, and I can guarantee that you didn't enjoy it, right? So by providing your staff with positive feedback, it will help to build their confidence, help to encourage them to get more involved in projects. And it's vital that you acknowledge their achievements and the effort they're putting in, because that can help encourage creativity and ensure that everyone's clear about what's expected of them. Sincere praise, as I've said on the slide here, provides motivation and drive for your team. So one more thing, and then we're going to jump into Q&A. I've kept this webinar a little bit shorter today because I know there's a few less of you here, and also I've seen a number of you on here before, but I wanted to make sure the content is really value focused. We didn't go into a demo or like a walkthrough of Promo Republic today. The screen sharing for some reason wasn't working. So if you do want to find out about it, make sure you go ahead and schedule a call, but that's one reason why I've gone a little bit faster. But before we get to the Q&A, just to recap, these are the 3 core areas that Promo Republic will help you with if you are running social media management for your clients. It can help you with content creation. As I said, there's over 100,000 ready-made post ideas ready for you to go straight away within the tool itself, and these are always being updated on a monthly basis. There's this collaboration workflow that's built in, and the whole tool is fully white label possible, as I said earlier on, and can really help position yourself as an authority to your clients even further and help you command higher prices than those agencies that are doing social media management for a couple $100s a month, for example. And you can also make sure you're getting automated and weekly, monthly reports for your clients' performance, etc. So those of you who are doing social media management, of course, you probably looked at a ton of other tools. As I said earlier on, actually at the start of this webinar, I actually used to work with these guys at Hootsuite. I know this industry very, very well. I have friends at most of these companies. And genuinely, 100%, I do believe if you're a like small, medium agency working with SMBs, maybe with local businesses, franchisees, Promo Republic is an incredible tool for you. It's very, very cost effective. Also, you can see here, honestly, how it stacks up against the competition. The team put together a little calculation for an agency that maybe manages 30 social media accounts. They have a number of team members. They want those approval workflows for their clients. They want the white labeling. They want the monitoring of mentions and hashtags so that they can do community management. They want everything else. There's also the possibility within Promo Republic to work with the Promo Republic services team to get your own content created by the team at Promo Republic and some other services too. So lots of ways you can collaborate with them there. But this study or this calculation found out that if you were to choose Promo Republic over these other tools, you could save yourself anywhere between $600 and $5,400 every single year. You can see here that the agency package starts at $99 a month, and anyone who schedules a call with the team using the link I shared earlier on, which I'll put in the chat box again right now, will also have a special discount off on that price too. And when I worked at Hootsuite, if you wanted collaboration workflows, the minimum cost is $600 every single month. So you can see the huge difference already. The tool is very, very good. Lots of very, very happy customers. I know there's a few of you on this webinar as well. So yeah, I really recommend the agency solution. It has this graphics editor, which we talked about earlier on. So where you can create content in this content Canva-like builder. We have the collaboration platform and collaboration workflows that I've talked about already. Customer business profiles, so you can quickly switch between your different client accounts, make sure branding is set up and ready to go, and tons of other ways that you can be utilizing the platform too, from the monitoring, the reporting, the white label, loads and loads of other ways. So if you are running a social media business, if you are managing social media for your clients, I would wholeheartedly recommend Promo Republic and recommend you schedule a call with the team if you do have any questions and want to find out a little bit more. So I'm going to wrap things up there. That is the end of the content for today. I hope you found it useful, especially those of you who are here for the very first time. I want to say thank you. Again, usually we go on for a little bit longer. We spend a bit more time on the walkthrough, etc. But I don't think it's most relevant today. So thank you if you did join us. I have plenty of time. If anyone wants to just do some, whether it's like general agency-related stuff, team management stuff, personal branding, that's what I'm here for. Any ways I can help you in your business, then let's please go ahead right now. Make sure you just use the chat box. So Michael says, I currently don't have a team. I'm looking at creating an outsourced virtual team. Promo Republic be suitable for that type of scenario. 100% Michael, because if you think about it, if you start, even if you don't have a team, like even if you're managing everything yourself, it can become very, very messy if you don't have a platform to manage all of that work for your clients, right? And have different areas for all of those clients. And different ways to collaborate with those clients. So that's the first thing. But then as you start to build your outsourced team, and there's other ways that like you're going to have team members, they're going to need different access permissions and lots of different things. You can see here Aggie says this is by far the best tool we use. Aggie, that's awesome feedback, thank you. Are you an agency customer of Promo Republic? It's really good feedback, so I appreciate that a ton. Yeah, Michael, I hope that answered your question. Like, if you do want to see a bit more about it and how it could help you in the use cases, just go ahead and schedule onto a call. Okay, so Joel says, great stuff. Do you have a video or replay on the lead funnel for attracting clients? Joel, it's a really good question. So I don't have like a specific, just one funnel that I'm using. Right now, to be honest with you, all of our clients from my agency are coming from my personal brand, from the cold email outreach that we're doing, and a couple of referrals, and that's it at the moment. We're actually just about to relaunch our new agency website anytime now, like I'm hoping maybe tomorrow. But we don't have a solid funnel in place, as to speak. Like we have a free proposal, like request a proposal mini funnel on the website that's going to be there, but that's it. We have done a few webinars on lead generation in the past, so I'd recommend going to the Promo Republic YouTube channel and checking out some of those replays because I think they might be helpful for you. But I don't have one specific funnel that I would recommend. No worries. Also, if you're not going to hang around for Q&A, then thank you for joining us. I would love to see you again next time we do one of these webinars. As I said, I have plenty more time to answer questions if anyone does have them. So if you're leaving us now, thank you. I appreciate you, and hopefully I'll see you again next time we do one of these. I think it's going to be next week. Just keep an eye on the emails that you get and on the website, etc. Awesome. Aggie has completed the survey. Thank you, Aggie. Appreciate that. Joel has done the survey too. Michael, thank you. Yep, check out my YouTube videos. I actually haven't posted anything for the last month, which is really bad of me, but been super busy on this like redesign for our agency business, so that's going to be going live soon. But yeah, lots more videos coming soon. I actually have a course that is about to be released pretty soon also. Cool. Does anybody else have any other questions, or shall we start to wrap this up? Awesome. Cool. Thank you so much, everyone. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm going to wrap up this now, and I will see you next week.